In this video, I'm going to show you a sketchbook I kept during a week in Paris. I will be flipping through this and showing you a little bit of my images and what I include in my travel sketchbooks, which aren't so much about art technique as they are about documenting my experience in a place. So if you are a non-artist, especially interested in how you might be able to keep your own travel sketchbook, I think you'll come away with lots of ideas for doing your own. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Lisa Sonora, and as an artist and author, I keep all different types of visual journals and sketchbooks. I'm also a former art therapist, and that's why I founded Visual Journal Studio. I teach visual journaling as a way to help you make more meaningful art while also supporting your well-being. As you'll be able to see when I show you the sketchbook, it was made well before the pandemic, the last time I was in Paris. And I'm sharing this with you today because I'm so excited to let you know that you can come to Paris and sketch with me if you want to. I've just been invited to teach at a workshop in Paris this fall, September 2022. Happens to be my birthday week as well. It's called the Paris Sketchbook, the brainchild of my dear friend and wonderful sketchbook artist, Cynthia Morris. My twin passions are travel and art, and to be able to do them together with a focused purpose is a dream come true. The Paris Sketchbook Workshop includes 5 different international sketchbook artists and teachers. So it's not just me, but Cynthia will be teaching and 3 other amazing artists. And I just can't wait to do this workshop. I love teaching workshops that I would love to take. So I hope that if this sounds as fun to you as it does to me, that you'll go check it out and consider joining us in Paris in September. This is my Paris sketchbook that I filled during 1 week. The sketchbook I'm using is called a Japanese album. It's by Moleskine. And let me just show you how this looks. Empty. It's got very thick, almost cardstock-like paper in it, which is wonderful for sketching or painting. And what makes it a Japanese album is the pages fold out like this. My process of keeping a travel sketchbook is very private. I think of them more like visual journals. So the writing, I won't go through all that, is very private to me. But I just want to explain a little bit about some of the creative challenges I gave myself for this sketchbook for this week in Paris. And hopefully you'll take away ideas to use for your own travel journals. Why give yourself a creative challenge? The creative challenges help me not worry so much about the content that is going into the sketchbook, but it takes the pressure off technique and what I'm writing about or what I'm putting in my sketchbook, and helps me turn more to my inner experience. I find that just so much more interesting when I go back and look at my sketchbooks later. So here is what the sketchbook looks like filled. It's filled with writing and collage and photos. I probably will add a few more photos in here. I use a lot of collage elements for magazines. I always like to include a business card. Here I have 2. This is the front, and this is what the back of that business card looks like. And it brings me to my first creative challenge I want to share with you, which is using elements that I find on the travels. So these are collage pieces cut out from magazines that form backgrounds. Actually, I'm probably going to put something else on there. I just haven't done it yet. Stamps, coasters, even the art supplies I bought in Paris, as you can see here, are the only supplies I used in the sketchbook. In fact, even this little sketchbook I bought at the Moleskine store in Paris, which was wonderful. I highly recommend a pilgrimage there. So you can see I drew the art supplies that I found on the trip, and that's what I used throughout. you may have observed already, everything is in black and white. And that was a decision I made after I got to Paris. I gave myself a creative challenge to use black and white. I gave myself a creative challenge to work in a really different type of sketchbook that I've used before. So I never used this Japanese album type sketchbook before, and I really wanted to do that. I also, this was a little Chanel number 5 sample. I also included the date for every new entry. I wanted to remember to do that, so I brought a little date stamp. Actually, yeah, I brought the date stamp with me. I didn't buy that in Paris. Those are hard to find. Another challenge I gave was to do a daily self-portrait in less than 3 minutes. Maybe it was a minute self-portrait. I can't remember. But yeah, probably those stripes took a couple minutes. But I did a very quick daily self-portrait on a 3x5 index card, and then often I would journal on the back of it. Another creative challenge is that I included the addresses of places I visited. Often when so you can see I cut out the business card with the address here of that restaurant Cynthia and I went to. Often when I am traveling, I forget, I'll put down the place or maybe the name, but I don't include the address. So I wanted to remember that for this trip. This is a pilgrimage I made. So my travels are very much art related, artist related. And in Paris, I visited the Sonora art store, the original one that's been there since 1887. And here's where I was testing out the different markers, and I drew a little quick picture of the front of the building with the address. So here's the street it's on in Paris, the zip code, postal code. During this week in Paris, I had a theme. It was very much inspired by exploring more of the life of Henry Miller, who lived in Paris before World War II. And so I have drawings I made of him. This is a hotel he stayed at with Annie Isnin. Reading the journals of Annie Isnin was very influential to me as a teenager. Here's Henry and one of his quotes that I loved so much. Henry kept a visual journal, and he also did watercolors, even though he was a writer. Okay, this is the book I was going to tell you about, The Diary of Annie Isnin. I decided to draw the cover in here. It was a very influential book for me. Actually, it's a set of books, set of her diaries that she published in the 70s or 80s. I think the 70s, yeah. And I read these as a teenager, and they really influenced and inspired me to pursue a path of the arts. There's Henry. And so I wrote letters to Henry Miller while I was in Paris. I had mapped out places that he stayed and places he liked to hang out, different cafes. So that was a focus for this particular trip and this particular journal, as well as meeting some contemporary local artists. So I got to hang out with different artists I met in Paris and got together with to do sketching. So that is a quick look at my Paris journal for this particular week in Paris. Oh, let me show you something else. I love to include the ephemera of everyday life. And oh, this is from the Moleskine store, this little stamp. This was a set of watercolors I purchased in Paris that I love so much. These I got at the Sonora store, and I'm in a cafe showing my friends. We're all playing with the watercolors at our table. But the ephemera of daily life, this is from a baguette bag.
And I just thought it was such beautiful design. It also fit with my color palette. But there's the receipt. It was €1, 5 cents for the baguette. And then on the back, if I wanted to, I like to create little hiding places in my sketchbooks for more writing or to add more photos. But for now, that's just in there. I have some other things in my pocket here that I want to paste in, some more photos, some more ephemera. So when I get home from a trip, I keep filling these until they're finished.
Thanks so much for watching today's video about my Paris sketchbook and the Paris sketchbook workshop.